In the hierarchy of human needs, good health is right at the top. There's a reason we say, "To your health," whenever we clink glasses. In the complicated world of politics, therefore, with numerous competing issues coming at us 24 hours a day, it's not surprising that concerns clearly relevant to our health and that of our families regularly rise to the top of our society's priority list. The effect of plastic on our health should be at the top of that list today. As Bruce Laurie and I explain in our book, Slow Death by Rubber Duck, once an issue transforms into a human health concern, it becomes far more likely to be taken up by our elected leaders, noticed by the general public, and consequently solved. The smoking debate followed this path. Once the focus became the damaging effects of secondhand smoke, i.e., it's not just the health of smokers at risk, but the health of all those around them, the momentum for change became impossible for even the most defiant cigarette companies to resist. What we are witnessing now is the genesis of another human health problem that I believe has the potential to dominate public debate over the next decade. The discovery that tiny plastic particles are permeating every human on Earth. Plastic, it turns out, never really disappears. In response to time and sunlight or the action of waves, it just gets mushed into smaller and smaller bits. These microscopic particles then enter the food chain, air, and soil. In the past couple of years, scientists have started to find these particles in an astonishing range of products, including table salt and honey, bottled and tap water, shellfish, and beer. In one recent study, 83% of tap water in 7 countries was found to contain plastic microfibers. When the snow melts in Canada to reveal a winter's worth of Tim Hortons cups and lids, every person in this country notices the plastic litter that surrounds us. Many of us know of the vast and accumulating patches of garbage in the ocean. I hear shoppers in the produce aisles of my local grocery store grumbling at the increasing size of the plastic that encases the organic arugula. None of this really matters much. Do I care that sea turtles are choking to death on the plastic grocery bags I use every day? Sort of, but certainly not enough to inconvenience myself. But if it turns out that my 2 boys have a dramatically increased chance of contracting prostate cancer because of all the plastic particles that are implanted in their growing bodies, now you've got my attention. Make it stop, please. Forget recycling. We can't recycle ourselves out of this problem. The issue is our society's addiction to plastic itself. Those plastic microfibers I mentioned? Scientists are now saying that one of the primary sources in our drinking water is the lint that comes off the synthetic fabric of our clothing. It's not just the plastic we're throwing away that's the problem. It's the plastic items we surround ourselves with every day. The new science on plastic microparticles is stunning, and I'm guessing only the tip of a toxic iceberg. On March 31, 1880, the good people of Wabash, Indiana, population 320, launched a technological revolution. On top of the town's courthouse, they mounted 2 bars with a 3,000 candle-power bulb at both ends of each. They then started up a steam engine to generate electricity, and at 8 p.m., flipped a switch. Sparks showered, and Wabash became the first electrically lit city in the world. The strange, weird light, exceeded in power only by the sun, rendered the square as light as midday, one witness reported. Men fell on their knees, groans were uttered at the sight, and many were dumb with amazement. A century and a quarter later, electric light turns night into day around the globe. In the first World Atlas of Artificial Night Sky Brightness, based on high-resolution satellite data and released in 2001, the heavily developed urban areas of Japan, Western Europe, and the United States blaze like amusement parks. We flood the heavens with so much artificial light that nearly 2/3 of the world's people can no longer see the Milky Way. On a clear, dark night, far from light-polluted skies, roughly 2,500 stars can be seen by the naked eye. For people living in the suburbs of New York, that number decreases to 250. Residents of Manhattan are lucky to see 15. Moreover, as the stars fade from view, more and more research is suggesting that excessive exposure to artificial night light can alter basic biological rhythms in animals, change predator-prey relationships, and even trigger deadly hormonal imbalances in humans. Many creatures are genetically programmed to navigate by the dim glow of the stars and the moon. For them, night lights can be deadly. Michael Mazur, founder of the Toronto-based Fatal Light Awareness Program, estimates that 100 million songbirds crash into lit buildings in North America each year. Likewise, artificial light is a source of confusion for the relatives of butterflies that are active at night. Rod Crawford of the Burke Museum at the University of Washington believes that light pollution may be the leading cause, after habitat loss, of the decline of the spectacular giant silk moths that were once a source of summer visual delight. The farther from lights and altered habitats you get, the more moths you find, he says. Kenneth Frank, a Philadelphia physician who also studies insects, says that light-lured moths often miss their brief opportunities to mate, or are killed by larger, light-stalking creatures. Bright lights also disrupt migration routes, confining some moth populations to isolated islands of darkness. But Frank admits that the situation of the moths is unlikely to cause public concern. Never argue against something on behalf of moths, he warns. People will just laugh at you. Talk about ecosystems instead. Square Wallet is an innovative new application that is changing the way we spend our money. Here's how it works. You link your credit card to the app, shop, take your items to a cashier at a participating retailer, and, as the company's website says, simply say your name at checkout to pay. Your name and photograph appear on the register. The cashier gives you a nod, and you walk happily out the door with what you wanted to buy. This kind of seamless convenience has obvious advantages, but it comes with hidden costs. Technology makes it possible to get movies, games, and books the moment we want them and to worry about money later. It's a payment system that encourages instant gratification. Interestingly, however, research suggests that we derive greater happiness from goods we pay for immediately but don't use for some time than we do from goods we use now but pay for later. The app's chief appeal is that it makes payment essentially invisible, which is exactly what makes it so dangerous. The app soothes the pain connected to handing over hard-earned money, but numbing that pain is tricky. Just as the sensation of burning tells you to pull your hand from the stove, the pain of paying can keep spending in check. This isn't just a metaphor. Paying high prices for goods and services activates the region of the brain associated with the sensation of actual physical pain. When MBA students were given the opportunity to bid on tickets to a sporting event, those who had to pay in cash bid roughly half as much as those who were permitted to charge. It hurts to hand over cash, so we're less likely to overspend and thus less likely to sink into debt. According to the Census Bureau, the median American household debt in 2011 was $70,000. Nearly half of Americans report worrying about debt. Though accumulating debt is sometimes sensible, research shows that it exerts an enormous negative influence on happiness. Prepayment reduces the dread of debt and also increases the happiness connected with possession. In a recent study, researchers in Europe gave 99 people the chance to buy a gift basket filled with treats. Some got the basket right away and paid later. Others got the basket only after paying in full. Everyone then rated how much joy and contentment their gift baskets gave. Although the baskets were identical, they brought more happiness to those who paid in advance. Perhaps this explains why people frequently experience a happiness boost in the weeks before a vacation. Stuck in an office, the anticipation of the beach is almost as enjoyable as the beach itself. Delayed pleasure not only increases anticipatory excitement, but also enhances the pleasure once it is eventually enjoyed. In one study, students were selected to eat a piece of chocolate, but some had to wait 30 minutes before they could eat it, while others ate the chocolate immediately. Those who had to wait were more likely to fantasize about the chocolate and visualize what it would be like to taste it. And fantasies matter because waiting enhanced enjoyment and increased people's desire to buy more chocolate. The danger with delayed consumption is that raised expectations result in disappointment when the purchase doesn't live up to our hopes. Luckily, the mind paints over minor gaps between expectations and reality. In a recent study, people enjoyed a video game more if they were presented with tempting details about it before they played. And this was true even when researchers offered them a low-quality version of the game. Ironically, some of the coolest innovations of the past decades may be undermining our happiness. Technologies that push payment into the future, making paying so convenient that it's practically painless, put us in danger of overspending. Those that allow us to have everything immediately rob us of the anticipation period. The challenge for the next generation of innovation lies in combining the vast potential of computer technology with fundamental principles of happiness science.